Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Chinenye's Diary. My name is Chinenye. So in today's video, I'm going to be addressing my last video, the video I uploaded a few days ago, an unbelievable way of soaking cassava or fufu. A lot of things people do just to make cassava ferment or to soak within few days. So, and yeah, I hope you guys love my natural hair. It's really growing, and this my natural hair is a help. Legs down 1 year. It will be 1 year in March. I started growing this hair last year March, and look at how full and long it is. Maybe in my subsequent video I'm going to show you guys how I treat my natural hair, what I did for my natural hair to grow so fast. Yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys that. So I'm coming back to what I was saying before, that the use of detergent is a no-no. Like when I uploaded that video, I didn't know anything about how cassava is being processed, but I found the video so fascinating that I have to film from the start to finish. And I've been receiving a lot of comments saying that the woman, she's so wicked, that they've been saying a lot of things about her. But I want to say that I'm sorry for posting that video, and as well that video is an eye-opener to everyone that is eating fufu or cassava, and also that it's not the woman's fault. I wrote it down in the description box that it's not the woman's fault. The woman, she normally goes to the market, she buys and comes to her house to pound and sell, and this business she has been doing for a very long time. She didn't know what is happening behind the scene, how the fufu is being processed. Only thing she knows that whenever it's the market day, she goes to the market to go and buy and cook at home. So it's not her fault in any way. So let's just keep our comments peaceful, because let's just keep the comments peaceful. It's not her fault in any way. So when I went, as I said earlier, I went for a burial. So at the process of this burial, the woman, she was pounding. I now saw her and asked, and I filmed the video with her. Then I asked her where I'm going to film that the processing of fufu. She now directed me to a place they call Oda, like a place where is a place they normally process fufu. That place they do everything, they even soak. Some people do soak at home as well, but that particular place is the place they do it. So I went there, I was filming. At the time I saw that particular one, the one they use detergent, that clean in soaking, that one drew my attention, and I got so curious. So I wanted to know why she uses that detergent or any foaming agent to soak hers. And a lot of people are even doing it there as well. Some people are using Ariel, some people are using potash, some people are even using lime. So they're using a lot of things to soak their cassava. So but that one drew my attention. I went to that particular woman, and I now asked her, and I now asked the permission for me to film her, which she agreed. So I now asked her the reason behind the use of detergent to soak cassava. So she now said that that one, they use it in washing the cassava to be white, that it makes it to be white and clean, and also that it helps remove the odor. I don't know what she meant. I don't know what she meant by the odor. Maybe is it the odor before it is being processed, or is it the odor that it is going to remove when they are pounding it? So I don't know why she said so. And thirdly, that they use it in soaking it to fasten the softening. So that's why what she said, and I filmed it because I got so curious. So I wanted to show you guys what is happening behind the scene. Yeah, I want to show you guys what is happening behind the scene in fufu or cassava making. A lot of people might have seen it, a lot of people might have not seen it, because actually this is my first time of seeing it as well. So that was why I got so curious and I decided to film that particular video. But since I uploaded that video, I've been receiving a lot of comments, and it made me to go browse a lot about cassava making and what is used in soaking cassava. So from what I've seen from the net, they use lime, potash, and detergent, any form of detergent or any foaming agent, that they use it in soaking cassava. I was like, how? When I continued reading, so the use of detergent or potash or any form of any foaming agent to soak cassava is so unhealthy. It's not nice, and it's so unhealthy. That's the main reason some people, after eating a lot of food, they complain of stomach ache, they complain of this one, they complain of the other one, and a lot of things has been happening. People will be sick here and there without even knowing what's actual cause of their sickness, but they start reacting to that particular food they ate. Maybe that was what they used in preparing the food as well, that might cause those symptoms or any form of sickness. So a lot of things are happening behind the scene. So, and this one is really an eye-opener. People might give credit to that video, some people might not give credit to that video, but what I'm saying is that that video is an eye-opener to everyone that is eating fufu, and also for us to know what is happening behind the scene. because we go to the market after it has been prepared and pound. Like, we go to the market, we buy, come home and eat without knowing how it is being processed. When I was asking the woman I was pounding, that one I did it behind cameras, she said that this is the normal way fufu is supposed to be pound. Like, because she made the fufu 2 times. She did the first one, she removed and she pounded and put it back the second time. So when I asked her, she said that is the normal proper way of making and pounding cassava. That's the normal way of preparing cassava. That some people, they just do it once, they will just put it once. Some people mix it with gari just to make it once, but those ones are unhealthy because it really causes stomach upset and all. So, and I've seen people do that as well. So a lot of things are happening behind the scene. Is, like they said, is that what we know is what is going to kill us, but whatever we don't know is not going to kill us. So like now we've seen it, we've known what is happening behind the scene in cassava processing. And that's why, like, people, she told me, like, people normally buy from her. People come to her house, request for it, she pounds and give them. Maybe people that are doing all those ceremony, maybe burial or traditional marriage, they come to her, she pounds and give them because she cooks in a proper way. That some people used to stir cassava the way they used to make semo. So there are so many ways you can make cassava, but the method she's using is the proper way of cooking cassava. So let's all just give credit to that particular woman because she tried, she put in much effort to make sure that the food is healthy for people to eat. And also, I'm going to be using this avenue to address other things that are happening behind the scene in what we eat. I've heard so many people say that they use chewing gum, they use tom-tom inside the meat, especially when they're cooking cow trip and cow skin. The reason being that it makes it to be done so fast, that it makes it to cook so fast. So a lot of things has been happening behind the scene and people are not even aware of it. So this particular video is just like an eye-opener. If let's see what is happening, really happening behind the scene. So and this thing I can attest to that particular one of using chewing gum, even paracetamol. Yeah, people use paracetamol to tenderize their meat. Although paracetamol is the drug so everybody normally takes, but using it to cook the meat is so unhealthy as well. And people does that a lot. All those restaurants, all those buka people, they does that a lot, and people don't even know what is happening behind the scene. There was a time a guy came to her house. When the guy we brought to the house, he wanted to cook cow skin and he added paracetamol. When I saw that, I was like, what was the essence of using paracetamol to cook the meat? He said that it tenderizes the meat so fast, so that within a few, maybe in less than 15-20 minutes, the cow skin will be done. I was like, no, we don't use this kind of thing in our house. If you want to cook the meat, it's either you use the pressure pot or you just cook the meat normal until it gets done. So if I hadn't come to that kitchen, I wouldn't have seen that he uses paracetamol to tenderize his meat. And maybe probably he might be doing it all this while, but we don't even know. So all these things are something that are happening behind the scene. And there's a place, when I was growing up, there's a place we normally buy food, although their food is very tasty and nice. Oh. Their food is very tasty and nice. So we normally go there to buy food to eat, especially their ofahu. So one day I went there, I went too early, the food was not done. And she was cooking the meat. To my own greatest surprise, she uses chewing gum and tom-tom. When Anna asked her why is she using all those things, she said that it's for her to just make the meat to cook faster. So all these things are things that are happening behind the scene and people are not even aware of it. We buy food from the market, we buy food from restaurants, we buy food from buka, we buy food from different places without knowing what is happening behind the scene. And most especially the environment where the food is being cooked. All these things contribute, that all these things are environmental factors we need to put into consideration. And if you have the opportunity to make all these things at home, Pico, is better for us to make it by ourselves. Especially people that have babies, though. Because if you see where they're making pap akamu, you won't even agree to give it to your child anymore. If you see the place they're making, it's very, very dirty, so unkept. They will soak the corn for a few days with that same water without washing it out. And people don't even know about it. So if you have a baby, if you have a baby, please, it's just better for you to make your akamu or your dawa or whatever you give to your baby at home. So all these things are environmental factors, they are environmental hazard, and which is poisonous to our health and that of the baby. Then again, I have to go for then again, let's talk about the buka or the restaurants. A lot of things are happening. When you go to a restaurant or maybe a buka, they serve you food outside, you don't even know what is happening behind the scene. You don't even know what is happening. A lot of people, if you go there, if they show you where they prepare a lot of food that we buy from they show you the environment they prepare the food, you can't, like, you just wear with your life that you won't even be able to eat food from outside anymore. So a lot of these things are behind the scene that we need to put into consideration. But we need to put into consideration. There are some people everywhere is dirty, flies everywhere, and some of them they don't even wash their vegetables at home. They wash it at the market. They cut their ugu, their green, their okra. So many of them at the market, and you see the kind. If you see the kind of water those people use in watching it, you will just pity yourself by eating outside. So what I'm saying is, if you have the opportunity to make it at home, go ahead and prepare your food by yourself. Do it at home. If you have the strength to pound your cassava, process it at home. For those that like fufu so much, if you have the strength to do it, go ahead and do it at home. Cut your vegetables at home. Cut your ugu at home. And watch it with salt. Because those ones they watch in the market, they don't even use salt to watch it. They don't even watch it very well. They'll just watch it once, cut your vegetables and give it to you. And you take it out, you take it home and cook your soup. So what if because you know that some vegetables you will buy, you will see snail feces on it. You see some ants on the vegetables. So just imagine when you ask them to wash it for you in the market. They don't wash it so well. They don't wash it very well. They'll just wash it chaka, and they'll bring it out. Next thing, they'll cut the vegetables and give it to you. So all these things are what is happening behind the scene that you don't even know about. The use of paracetamol in cooking meat, nails, whatever they call it, chewing gum, all those things are not so, it's so unhealthy for the human health. It's so unhealthy. So to my own video I uploaded, you guys should just, I understand your plight. I understand so well with the use of detergent, but that was what made me to film that particular video, because I got so curious. As I said earlier, I got so curious. I needed to show the world what is happening. I needed to show the people how fufu processing, what they use in processing that fufu, how it's being made, that we don't even know. And we eat fufu. So many, like, people consume fufu every single day. It's what people eat every day. So we don't even know how it's being made. I'm not going to say what the comment I received is so bad. No, it's the people add their views. They just add how they feel about that detergent, about the use of detergent in soaking cassava, and which is a no, because I have to browse. When I uploaded that video, I started receiving a lot of comments. I have to go browse, ask questions. I even asked like elderly people around me the use of detergent in soaking cassava, and they didn't give me a good reason for that. They were like, no, it's a no, that people do it these days, but it's a no, that is so unhealthy. That the proper way is just for you to peel your cassava, wash it with clean water, and after washing, you soak it and allow it to ferment for at least 7 good days or more before you wash it out. That sometimes, that not all of them ferment, but those ones that didn't ferment, you can also dry it up and use it as cassava flour. That's what they said. When it dries up, you blend or you grind, whichever way you do it, and then use it as cassava flour. Yeah, that's the proper way of making the cassava. But soon I'll be releasing another video on a proper and healthy way of processing and making fufu. And thank you so much. And if you've not watched the unbelievable way of making fufu, my last video, you can go ahead and feel free and watch it and drop some comments over there. And yeah, and also let's not forget the woman that made that apple amaka. Oh, how I wish I eat cassava. That cassava is looking so fresh and soft. The apple amaka, she put in so much work in doing that business, and that's what kept her till this day, and she has been doing it up to now. So thank you so much for watching this video, and if you really enjoy watching this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And also to check out my other food videos. Anyone you find fascinating, you can go ahead and watch my other food videos. Thank you so much for your understanding, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.